I drank a whole drink.
I have that effect on people. Okay. Welcome back to Best Friend Review. I'm Annabelle Lecter, and that's...
Wait, did you just say I'm Alexa?
Uh, Alexa Play Reacts by the Pussycat Dolls.
You are... Yes, queen. Hiya. What's happening? I think I'm alright now. I think I'm alright now. Doesn't really I don't know the words.
Yeah, that. So, welcome back to Best Friend Review. We are on episode 6. Before we do that, let's have a little read through of the comments from last week. So, first things first, Bam Diggy, who is a new subscriber. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Best Friend Review. Bam Diggy says, I would have done gym bag and worn milk style a muscle suit. Beverly Tight Lips said, love these so much.
Who?
Always behave. Beverly Tight Lips, go and find her on the social medias. Joe is back in the comments as well. Welcome back, Joe. I'm always so happy when the notification comes for these reviews, so keep them coming. This week, Utica was the shining star for me. Her looks were amazing, and I love everything about her.
I know every YouTuber says it. I didn't know how important it is, but if you ring the little bell, when you subscribe, you genuinely get notifications on your phone saying that it's uploaded.
Dale is back in the comments as well. Welcome back, Dale. I think I would have had to pick a ball bag so that Rue would have had to say it on the main stage, and then I would have been a camp PE teacher. And then he also says, this is fast becoming my favourite review show.
Full on, Sue Sylvester fantasy, you know what I mean? How good would Joey have been as a Sue Sylvester?
We've not seen what Joey would have wore, have we?
Yeah, because Joey was here for the bag ball.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay. It's the disco week. Oh my god.
The Queen's back in the workroom. Joey J is gone. We have just confirmed that Joey J is gone. The first thing that really happens is Candy and Tamisha talk about the drama from last week.
They started doing this bit at the start of every episode where they basically have an untucked the next day. I like to call this segment tucked.
Retucked.
We're back in the room. Tucked. Retucked. Retucked. I'm going to work on it.
I got bored of this very quickly. We saw it all play out last week.
Semantics, bitch. Semantics. Boring semantics. And we do officially move on to the next day and everyone comes back.
Yes, they do.
In the morning.
The Queen's had to make a look out of wallpaper in 30 minutes in pairs.
Yeah.
Except for Gottmik, who gets to choose which pair they join and obviously chooses Candy.
Yes. And first of all, I just want to say, how soon until this website has a line of wallpaper called RuPaul wallpaper? You know what I mean? RuPaul wallpaper.
RuPaul paper.
I'm working on the name, but that's what we're going with for now. It's just a print of her face. And also, everyone is blowing up about this click thing. Yeah. Ooh, is it the next Alaska Talks? I don't see what the issue is. They're in a really stressful situation. They've gone in during a pandemic.
Yeah.
They're in a stressful situation. There's so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
If we went to an event and we got told a seminar, we're clever ladies, we're going to a seminar, where they say, pair up with people, and we know people in the room, you just pair up with your friends. It's what you did in high school, it's what you did in college, it's what you'd do if you went anywhere. You don't go to anywhere and sit with random people.
The difference between Rolaska Talks and the Mean Girls, as they call themselves later, is they're not doing what Rolaska Talks is, where they're actively attacked one individual.
These are just three nice people using each other for support, and I think it's I'd do it. I'm doing it right now. In the mini challenge, who are your tops? Pause. I was going to say who are your bottoms, and it didn't make any sense.
My tops.
Who are your tops?
My tops were, I really enjoyed... I forgot that name.
Do you need to tell you the names?
Tamisha and Elliot.
Don't you think theirs wouldn't have been as good if they didn't have the best wallpaper, basically?
Oh yeah, they had the best pattern. Absolutely. And my other favourite was Utica and Olivia.
That was genuinely a pattern I've seen in an Alexander McQueen show from 10 years ago. It was a proper crafted garment that was a well thought out pattern. They lost it, for me, they lost it on the presentation. I think that's why they definitely lost.
It gave me kind of like one of the fairies from Midsummer Night's Dream was doing like a fashion runway, or like something that you'd see from like Thumbelina, where one of the fairies...
Or Sleeping Beauty, one of those. I could take one of those fairies. That made it sound like I want to fight one of those fairies, and I think I could beat them.
Out of curiosity, which other fairies would you take?
Fucking all of them! Oh, anally, none of them. My second group would definitely have been the trio, but I want to say that, like, in this challenge, designing and making an outfit out of unconventional material, trying to put a face on as quickly as possible, and then they were meant to talk about it. I think the talking was a bit shit. Mick doesn't need the click to do well in Drag Race.
No.
Was the one that could have done this challenge alone.
Who was your least favourite?
I mean, obviously Simone and Lala.
Tamisha and Elliot win.
They showed deed.
They win some more wallpaper.
Woo, wallpaper!
The queens all get given their teams, and they have a little chat about it. This fun little bit happens with Utica, where Olivia tells Utica to say something shady to Tina. It was funny, but nothing really happens here, and then...
It literally is like, RuPaul leaves the room, and then just turns around and comes back in and is like, so what are we working on? Like,
the queens have gone, I've got this wig, and I've got this dress.
They've clearly been told, just put on something because she's coming back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, none of them are wearing these wigs. No one's doing that.
That's the thing. They're just like, oh, she's coming back. Look busy.
They just don't want to get red like Nick did. But just bringing a bit of material over.
So we do the walkthroughs, and they're doing them in the pairs that they're in. So the first one is Denali and Rose. Something really funny happens here. Denali goes, I gravitated to Rose because she just understands counts and music and beats. Flashback to the episode, the mini challenge, where Rue was like, I'm not going to tell you what the main challenge is, but you need to get into pairs. And that's going to be who you work with. Rose says that she's been holding on a little bit too tight and not really letting go during the competition.
First of all, I don't like that RuPaul think that's a bad thing. There are some people, there are some of us, there are people out there who are not neurotypical, who completely, that is how they live their life. And I don't like this idea that you have to do that in order to be acceptable and loved.
Yeah.
Which is Rue's message, and I don't like that. But also, I think, with watching Rose, I think that all the way through she has been so in her head and so controlled, but she has this view of herself that she's like the fun. She says it later, like, I'm the drunk girl at the bar who lost her shoes and wearing her shoes backwards, like all of that. And that isn't how we're seeing her. And I think she's aware of who she is and what her strengths are and what her power is as a person, because she is like out in the world, she is loved.
Yeah.
Even on Drag Race so far, while I think she's been totes orcs, she is loved.
Yeah.
And I just think when she actually understands that she isn't this silly, breezy, tulle-wearing gal and realizes, oh, actually, I am like a cerebral, thought-out, poignant moment kind of girl, she's going to own that. Like, her trying to relax isn't going to help her find her power, because that just isn't where it seems to lie.
Do you think this is why Rose is over-explaining her runways?
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next up is Simone and Lala. I'm glad that we had this moment because I had no idea what Disco Sucks was.
This is the only teachable moment to do with disco in the whole episode.
Yeah.
People know the fucking songs.
Yeah.
I think that is what I think. And I'll talk else about what I think in the future, which is what we're doing here, really, if you think about it.
Yes. This was the first point in the episode where I looked at it, that I looked at it from the whole, this is a very dated reference.
Meh. So now we're going to move on to something else. Meh.
The next ones in the walkthrough are the trio.
I'm angry at RuPaul for things that have happened.
Yeah.
There were 2 moments where I was like, angry.
Yeah. There was a couple of moments where I felt the same way.
Wait.
Go on.
This is my moment. I need to speak on what happens here in this very important moment that is happening in RuPaul's Drag Race. This is true schooling on our history as queer people, as gay men, as human beings living a human experience. because Candy brings up the Pussycat Dolls. Because her entire reference, which is correct, for all disco, which is correct, is Nicole Scherzinger featuring the Pussycat Dolls, because that was their name at this point. No, it was the other way around. It was the other way around. Pussycat Dolls featuring Nicole Scherzinger, which was very kind of her. When you listen to Hush, 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 halfway through it sort of mixes into her singing I Will Survive, which iconic. I feel like the editors watched our review show. They're one of the 50 people that watch it a week.
Yeah.
And they went, right, we're re-editing this because we need to honour this queen.
Can't wait for you to get onto Drag Race and then get in the bottom two and they go, we changed the lip sync song, it's going to be React.
Anyway, you go on. I'm sure you had something to say too.
Yeah, so a couple of bits that really annoyed me, and what Candy said ties into this. You know,
okay.
RuPaul says to Candy, what is your reference of disco? And Candy Muse comes back with an answer that is both legitimate and relevant to, you know,
her experience
and a younger generation. When she says to Tina, what are your three favorite disco songs? And Tina goes like, oh, Knock on Wood by, and then she gets the name wrong, and then Ru corrects her. But then she says, I Will Survive by Diana Ross.
To be controversial, even to my own opinion, the only song I will defend RuPaul defending the original singer on is I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. This is an important song, not just to disco, but to queer people everywhere. I completely agree with you. It's completely valid that they don't have the reference points that Ru has. They're not as old as Ru.
No.
And it's okay for us not to know things from 20, 30 years before some of us were born.
Yeah.
So one of the main things that annoyed me with this moment with RuPaul was, again, Candy said something and RuPaul started hilariously laughing. It's starting to feel to me a bit like RuPaul doesn't like talking to Candy. She's over laughing so Candy can't talk anymore. I'm a velociraptor.
We move on to the choreography for this episode.
Yes, with Miguel Zarate.
So we start off with the trio, which I thought had really easy choreography.
They did have easy choreography.
Next up was Elliot and Tamisha. Quick question. What the fuck was this hula hoop?
Thrust it forward, thrust it forward, thrust it forward. Regina George's mother. Yes.
We do find out that Tamisha's got an ostomy bag.
Obviously, you know, for a while, I have thought that Tamisha is definitely going to get the Cynthia situation.
Said the same.
They're going, oh, she only did a bad job because she's got this thing that's because she came on here too early. They're justifying bringing her back next season, which I'm here for.
Yeah.
But it's right there. It's right there.
Props to her for saying, I don't want any special treatment. I'm just going to do the best that I can with the capability that I have been afforded.
Yes.
Props to that.
And she's not telling the girls, which is important.
Yeah.
Well, it's important to her, but I don't know, tell your friends. Share shit.
Next up is Olivia and Utica. Bless her, she's struggling, but again, she's trying so hard.
I think she was hilarious.
I think she was brilliant.
This was taking something you're not great at and making it something you're great at. This is what they preach. I wrote that actually this moment with Olivia and Utica from the first second, the vibe it gave me was like me at 3:00 in the morning in the sauna with my towel.
Hush Hush by the Pussycat Dolls comes on and you're just like...
And I'm literally like, I don't want you.
We're back in the workroom.
This episode, they cram in too many learning about the Queen's moments.
Yeah.
And it's very clear when you know what's going to happen. And when you watch it back the second time, especially, you know what happens.
Yeah.
They give moments to the girls they need to give moments to, who are going to be in the top and bottom, to push a bit of a story on it. And actually, I know from being someone who looked very different when I was a teen to how I look now, that that does have a lasting effect on you.
Oh, absolutely.
But did I need a moment in Drag Race to talk about how Olivia used to be fat? Absolutely not.
It was a very beige moment.
Absolutely. The next thing that happened, though, was maybe my favourite moment from any episode ever so far, which was Utica, first of all going, so Candy, tell us about what your favourite fight is, which first of all felt like a hilarious question.
Yeah.
But then the follow-up was obviously Candy saying, with my inner demons, and then the moment of Utica turn my notes over, going, ooh, tell us about that. And genuinely, all I could think about, and I talk about this all the time, is that moment on Hey Queen with Kelly Mantle, where she says that the producers coming in while you're doing your makeup go,
ask Vivacious what her childhood was like growing up in Jamaica.
and she's like, I'm doing my makeup.
And they're like, no, you have.
And she goes, oh, what's your time? Like, growing up
in Jamaica.
Literally, that is what I felt in this moment, where they'd gone in and gone, ask her about what she's dealing with.
I thought the same thing. It was very, very dark.
So funny.
It was...
Another moment of, oh, we need to make people like Candy because she's going to win this lip sync. This was Candy with some real issues. Her mother in prison, her growing up on, like, not on the streets, but like in the streets, like the stuff she went through. This was real stuff. And like, I kind of felt bad for Olivia's little I was fat moment. And my mum heard I was a beast and got sad. Like,
yeah, a little
this
bit.
is some real drams.
Yeah, and then again, as you've already said, we had an Olivia moment, we had a Candy moment, we're now getting a Tamisha moment, which talks about somebody that influenced her when she was growing up. Yeah.
She is a woman that we have all experienced as queer kids.
Absolutely.
She is, whether it's a teacher, a friend of the family, someone that's at church, there is always some fabulous woman that doesn't care what you are, in fact, loves what you are, and tries to make you more so. And in Tamisha's case, it was particularly successful because it really helped turn her into Tamisha Iman.
Absolutely.
Who is coming for you and doing the splits and flips and kicks.
So we move on to the main stage.
The main stage with special guest Bianca Del Rio!
I thought the same thing!
Really, really, really hope that your microphone picked that up, because what I got was,
The funniest meme has come out of the internet this week. Style superstar Carson Kressley, and pan to Carson Kressley looking like a quality street. RuPaul goes down the line and asks, what's your favourite disco song? So, Filth Quen, what is your favourite disco song?
Right. Do you know the song by that girl group?
Yeah.
And it starts off as a different song, and halfway through, it turns into I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor.
Yeah.
That's my favourite disco song.
I love the Spice Girls.
Fuck yeah! No, actually, you know what my favourite disco song is?
Go.
I will shock you with this. It's obviously Disco Love by the Saturdays.
Stop it. Stop it now.
Oh, no, I'm obsessed with Last Dance, Last Chance.
Last Dance by Donna Summer.
Yes.
It's funny.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then from that era, which to me it's disco, even if it's slow, it's disco, even though you can't really dance to it. MacArthur fucking Park.
MacArthur's fucking Park was not mentioned in this episode once.
No.
Rude.
Someone left that song out in the rain.
However, the sweet green icing flowing down, we are both wearing green. We're going to say on the radio.
Yeah, I feel like they spoke so much about Diana Ross.
Yeah.
But like, Donna Summer was queen of disco.
Donna Summer was queen of disco.
She was that moment. Absolutely.
Fucking lootly.
What are we doing? Oh, we're writing a review. What are we up to? Bianca Del Rio?
We're on to the actual discomentary challenge.
Oh, do tell.
Let's start off with the trio. They open the show. The Birth of Disco.
Wait, is that what their section was called? The Birth of Disco?
Yeah.
So I tried to guess, and I wrote disco something.
I thought that Tina looked nervous. I hated Gottmik's outfit. Yes, Candy was doing what she did in Congratulations. She was watching other people for the choreo.
To me, this is the best Candy's look. She actually looked pretty polished.
I think she's really pretty in the face.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
We move on to Tamisha and Elliot, who had disco and sex. Tamisha fucked up, yeah?
This was the best I think she's looked.
The best she's looked.
And she looked the best of everyone in the disco to me.
Yeah, I thought the same.
And this was the youngest she'd looked.
Elliot looked great. However, I thought they were a bit plastic. Next up was Olivia and Utica. When I saw Utica's outfit, I thought she was going for like a Lady Godiva coming into Studio 54. No, because they had Studio 54.
I loved this outfit. I thought it worked.
Yeah,
I thought it was a good reference.
I thought it was, and I think it hit reference points.
Talking about reference points, Olivia was very clearly in tune with our show because she was dressed as Tina Turner of NSYNC fame. She doesn't look like Tina Turner. I didn't see, she looked gorgeous, but a gorgeous Tina Turner. I didn't see disco. Well, there's disco in this. Obviously, it's Tina Turner, but like...
Yeah, I think that they both sold it. Utica just sold it in her own kind of way. Next up, Denali and Rose. It was fun to watch. The choreography was great. I could see Rose concentrating too much, so she's not let go the way that she said that she was going to do.
Trying to give more personality than she normally has been able to.
Yeah.
And I do want to take a moment for that. What I also want to mention is I need to talk about Denali's look.
Yeah.
Denali in this Webster's Amber that everyone wears their first time in drag in basically like a, what do they call this? Like a drop paillette, sort of a paillette tassel pillowcase.
Simone and Lala do Disco Sucks. The actual performance didn't show anything for Disco Sucks. It was more in the thing that happened before it and the thing that happened after it.
And Simone's face, she just does that face and you're like, yes, here for it.
But the whole thing overall was campus tits. I enjoyed it.
There was no massive way that anyone in this whole challenge could really stand out. And to me, that's a bad challenge.
I enjoyed the performance element of it. However, we go on to the runway, which is possibly my least favourite runway theme ever. And the runway theme was Little Black Dress.
Could have been the most interesting sort of episode because actually giving someone such a very like...
broad.
Yeah. Giving someone just one instruction that can lead to literally anything actually could have opened this up to the most incredible pieces.
Yeah.
But... seems like no one was up to that. Most people were not up to that challenge.
So, we're on the runway. First up was Tina Burner. I thought this was an alright look. It was,
but that wig.
And then later on when we got a close-up on her face, I was like, oh, wow, ouch. Next up was Candy Muse. Like, she was so gorgeous in the face with this.
Stunning. This was followed by Gottmik in her little black dress. The littlest black dress. This was a Marco piece once again.
This was very clever. Next up was Elliot with 2 T's.
I just wrote boohoo.com.
Meh. Next up was Tamisha Iman.
What does this say? This dress was so ill-advised. She was just a lady in her 50s once again.
Next up was Olivia Lux.
What did you think of it?
I didn't like this. I loved the hair, but...
yes, same.
Hated this dress.
Now, next up we get to Utica. What did you think of Utica?
Only Utica would think of doing this.
She is an incredible costume maker.
Yeah. Next up, Denali. I thought this was simple, but I enjoyed it.
It was too subtle. It just was. It was too understated.
Next up was Rosé.
Rosé, and yet again, tulle ruffles.
I hated this. It was boxy.
Most of her outfits were made by the same person. That's actually their design, not something they've made specially for Rosé.
For Rosé, I see. Lalaurie, what the fuck was this?
I wish she would just stay backstage out of respect.
Yeah. Last out was Simone. I enjoyed this. I thought it was clever.
She had to tell us it was her because we wouldn't have known. To me, I loved it. I love the reference point. I love the RuPaul thing. I love she's sticking to her theme of like sort of 80s/90s.
We then move on to the judges' critiques. They are setting Tamisha up to return for a future season, whether it's season 14 or All Stars.
Something that I didn't like was when they started with Candy. Candy and Utica, to me, I had the same problems with their critiques.
Very that.
Obviously, they always want variety, but like most of the time they're going, make it you, make it what you are. And I genuinely think sometimes they just want something to say. And I think if Candy had come out and done a different character, they'd have been like, keep it you. Because you were here for a reason. You were here for a specific reason, and you should keep making it what you were brought here for. When they talk to Utica about what her look is and what the reference is, and they sort of say that, what is it? Because, like, you look great, but what is it? And then they go on about how people have to recognize the reference. In my opinion, if a look is great, it looks great. And the fact that it was based on her earring was gravy.
Yeah.
On what was, to me, a great, impactful fashionable, well thought out look.
Yeah.
They want everyone to get their references. They're all like, you don't understand the references, you're shit. You don't get it, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, they do the whole thing. Michelle didn't realise the back of a fucking earring. And she loved it when she saw that. She was like, oh my God, that's what it is.
Yeah.
She didn't get that. How is that on Utica?
I'm annoyed that Lalaurie was not in the bottom this week.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Very annoyed.
I do have to bring up the first funny thing that Carson's done in ages for me was after the deliberation, RuPaul goes, bring my girls back. And he starts going, where they at? Where they at?
Olivia wins. Do you agree?
No.
Who would you have given it to?
I have to say, for the reasons I mentioned, if I had to pick someone, it probably would have been Rosé. I didn't hate her look on the runway. I thought it fit perfectly. It was nice. It was all right. I thought she really aced her choreography.
Yeah.
And then also, like I said, I saw her really trying to give as much personality as possible.
Yeah, I thought
and
the same.
Since they're grading on a curve, it should be considered that for her this is difficult, and she is doing it.
Yeah, I thought...
She sat on what... Yeah.
Would I have given it...
Who would you have won? Who would you have had win?
I would have probably gone with Rosé as well. I really enjoyed her outfit in the thing. I thought she nailed the choreography. Like you say, she was trying something new. I wasn't a fan of her runway. I thought but it wasn't the worst runway.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, when they announced that Utica is safe, the whole of the safe girls all go, oh, oh,
what's that about?
I don't understand that. I'm hoping that we get a bit of an answer to that next week.
To me, how was Lala not in the bottom?
Because the sponsorship for Atlanta has not run out yet. But you know what the sponsorship has?
Yeah!
You know what the sponsorship has run out for? Whatever those canned drinks they were drinking in Untucked were.
Bubbly,
they all had sleeves this week. Bottom two, Candy and Tamisha to Hit 'Em Up Style by Blue Cantrell. I was very annoyed that this was not a classic disco song.
Do you know what I think it was? And the internet seems to agree from what I have seen since I thought it first, is that there is probably a very good classic disco song within the mix.
Yeah.
That Tamisha would have easily won.
Would have nailed. Yeah.
And they wanted Candy to stay in. And they knew this was a song that theoretically would be very in Candy's wheelhouse.
Yeah. I mean, the lip sync itself, I thought they both sold it in different ways. However...
Yes, and at different points.
There were moments where each of the queens did not know what the fuck the lyrics were.
Absolutely, yes.
Didn't know what was going on.
Candy was worse with the lyrics.
Candy was worse with the lyrics.
Yeah.
Tamisha was giving, as somebody said in the confessionals, good old drag.
Yeah. For me, the first half was Tamisha really selling this. I don't know what to call it other than they sort of act out the words and the sentiment.
Yeah.
And she was selling it. And she was really, like, it was that mix of, like, the modern, I'm selling you the thing, but also her very old school sort of style.
Very that.
But then, halfway through, you get to the emotion part, and between Candy, I mean, she looked gorgeous, but she really sold the emotion.
Yeah, she was fine. She
was desperate to stay there.
Desperate to stay this week.
And you felt every minute of it. Yeah. And like, I still, to me, I would still say from what I saw that Tamisha just edged. But I think this was a good point for our storyline of she's going to come back in either next season or All Stars.
Yeah.
And they can go, she didn't get a good chance because she was very ill.
Yeah, and I absolutely think that is what's going to happen. And Tamisha said it herself. She was like, I'm going to start working tomorrow. I'm going to heal. I'm going to come back to a future season. And, you know, well, I think that if she does come back and she is fully healed, she's going to be real competition.
Well, I want to say, Rue said it first. Rue's exact words, I wrote it down, was, this is not goodbye. So until we meet again, I'll say sashay away.
And the last time she said that was to Shangela in season 2.
Very much so. This is not the last I've seen of you. And you asked me before, have I seen Watch Your Packing? Yes, I have. And when watching it, so this season of Watch Your Packing, they have actually recorded it not as it ended, but later in.
Yeah.
And doesn't Tamisha look and sound like a different human?
Looks so much healthier, so much
Yeah.
happier, so much, she
Yes.
just seems to be on it. And quite
This,
frankly,
to me, this is the Tamisha of the videos that I've seen of her 10 years ago.
This is the Tamisha that we were expecting to
She is
get.
ready.
And
Yeah.
honestly, I think she's ready. I'm excited to see what she's going to do. I'm excited to see what she's going to bring if she does return to the competition. I hope that they bring her back for a regular season, not an All-Stars, though.
I genuinely think she'll be in season 14, and they'll do this reveal of, this isn't the last we saw of her. She is back because she deserved to come back. We've done it before, and she wasn't her best then, and we deserve to see her at her best. And I think she'll come back, and to me, she'll probably do exactly what Cynthia did, which was, she's not there for the competition. She's there to just have a nice experience.
Yeah, maybe.
And show off what she can do and just stay until near the end and then leave.
I think that she's probably going to be I've got to say this, though. One of the most gracious exits on Drag Race history. So gracious, so nice that she kind of went to Candy and went, no, you're not allowed to cry. It is what it is.
That's the thing. When Candy got to the back of the stage and they spoke to her, you looked at Candy and I thought, she doesn't look like, oh my God, I'm so glad I got through. She looks sad that Tamisha's got to leave.
Yeah, absolutely. She
genuinely seemed like sad for Tamisha because I think they know what it means to each other. I have to ask Annabelle Lecter, we all saw what's going to happen next week, and I know how you feel about a certain person. Are you excited for next week's regurgitation of Bossy Rossi?
No. I think I blanked that out of my brain that Bossy Rossi's coming back. Yeah.
We're getting a Bossy Rossi talk show once again. They're all going to act up just like it was season 10 last time, wasn't it? We're getting another one.
No.
But, saving grace, T.S. Madison is the guest judge next week.
T.S. Madison is the guest judge, and she's going to be fantastic. But that is everything for episode 6.
It sure is.
This has been Best Friend Review. Leave a comment like you have been doing it every week. Thank you so much to everybody that's subscribed. Click the little bell for the notifications. Done all of the good stuff. Commenting, all of that. We will read out the comments next week. But for now, I've been Annabelle Lecter.
And I forgot all the funny things I was going to say again. No.
You said you were going to have you said I'm going to have a breakdown.
Just on a roller coaster of emotions.
Great. Fabulous. Well, that's the end of the episode. Bye! Bye! I can't turn the recording off.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can't.
What about now? No?
Can't hear you.
What about now?